Today we're going to talk about building your best trade playbook setups. Stay tuned, we'll be right back. G'day traders, I'm Stacy Burke from Stacy Burke Trading, and today we're going to be talking about building your best trade playbook setups. So a few people have emailed me asking me exactly what it is that I do with building a playbook. Now, I'm using the Edgewonk software and I'm starting to actually, as I learn how to use it properly, I just saw that they've added in a new update with the software where I can actually upload my monthly spreadsheet from my trading account directly right into the platform, but also I can add in the screenshots that I've taken of the trade setups. So I'm getting a bit more diligent with collecting all the trade screenshots. But one of the things that I do all the time is I go through the week at the end of the week on usually Saturday morning, and I screenshot the different chart setups with the best setups that occurred based on how I trade. So usually the hourly and the 4 hour and the end of day constituting the bulk of that. Even though I'm leaning more towards the longer time frames, I still look at the hourly charts, and I like to look at the best trade setups, especially when there's a head and shoulders or there's a couple of setups that I look for based on the Asia close and the London Open, that sort of thing. And we're going to go through just a little sort of example of what you can possibly use as part of your own criteria when you're building the playbook. The purpose of the playbook is that you focus on, your 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 best trade setups where you've got a high possibility of a trade succeeding, where there's very little analysis paralysis in terms of your interpretation and in terms of not only entering the trade, but also in managing your risk. So, number one, for you, what constitutes your best trade setups? Be very specific. So for me, primarily I look for rectangles, I look for breakouts, and I look for failures at the lows of the high period and the highs of the low period. So we've talked about that in other videos, but I'm very specific. They're very price-based criteria. So it's very simple in terms of entering and establishing my risk point, but also a range in terms of an asymmetrical risk reward. So the second component of that is those trades don't happen every day for me with the time frames that I trade. Now, if you're trading on a 5-minute trading system, which I don't encourage, but if you're doing that and you're successful, maybe they do occur multiple times during the day or through in multiple pairs. Now, that said, though, my best trade setups will often occur usually at least once every couple of days between the major pairs. So I follow, between 10 and 15 pairs. And depending on how they've set up in their opening range, whether they're trending markets, that sort of thing, I will look for different markets to show me 1 or 2 of these best trade setups on the shorter time frames. So for you, your best trade setups, how do they develop? Do they develop at exhaustion points? Do they develop at support and resistance? Do they develop, over days, weeks, and months? If you're, for the end of day, I look at the weekly charts. So I look for the same thing on weekly charts, like I've talked about. If you've read Peter Brandt's books, or if you follow Peter on Twitter or on his Factor website, or if you've read Schabacher, they're looking at geometric patterns that build up over several weeks and sometimes months. And they're looking for these asymmetrical risk rewards that build up and then possibly give them an entry point on the end of day charts. Number 3, developing patience. So when you understand, again, the asymmetrical ranges and the risk reward, you're willing to wait, because Richard Dennis talked about this with the turtles. A lot of the turtles would take all these little minor signals, and he really emphasized to them to wait for the pure setups, the really clean best trade setups, but when they present it, to be hitting those trades and not be attached to whether it was a winner or a loser. And the purpose of that was that, number one, you can't be taking all these trades all the time. So, you can be disciplined, you can be emotionally oriented, but if you're just taking random trade signals and they're not very defined in terms of best trade setups, where the odds are possibly slightly in your favor or your edge presents, then what's going to happen is you're going to whittle away your capital, and then when the real opportunity comes along, you're going to be emotionally vested in another trade that's not going anywhere, or you possibly have whittled your capital down to where you've only got a small amount. So it's important to stay focused on your best trade setups and understand that patience can pay for itself. Like I talked about this last month with the Mexican peso, 2 trades. Probably my best month ever with trading. That came from 2 trades. The rest of my trades were pretty much just run-of-the-mill. There was winners, losers, and break-evens. But those 2 trades gave me a massive return on my account for the month. Number 4, jumping the gun versus the market giving a really clean signal. So often the more experience you've had being in the markets, the more your technical skills develop, you start to possibly lead the market with your decision making rather than letting the market confirm that. And oftentimes the best trades will give a very clean entry signal. So there's no need to try and jump the gun. And so oftentimes we jump the gun and then the market actually doesn't complete the pattern or doesn't complete the signal. And now we're stuck into a position that could possibly go sideways or even stop us out with a loss. So it's important to really just be patient. You know, the old axiom, hurry up and wait, but patience can be your number 1 ally. If you're not in the market, you've got a fairly neutral stand back approach, and you can see the market a lot clearer than if you're in a position and then you're emotionally tied to that position. So be patient, wait for the market to be a very clean signal that presents with your trade system, and then position yourself the same as when you're back testing and you've established when your entry and exit criteria present. So again, be patient. So let's just give a quick review. Be very specific and clear what your best trade setups are. How do they develop and how often possibly will they present? Develop the patience to wait. You know, the amateurs jump the gun. The professional traders aren't interested in that. They're interested in capital management, and they're interested in waiting for that completion of the signal to present. And number 4, wait for that clean signal. So hopefully you got some value out of today's video, traders. Build your playbook of your best trade setups, you know, whether it's just 1, 2, 3, or 4 setups. Put pictures up on your wall, review your playbook, train your mind to be focused on being patient and waiting for those ideal setups and those parameters that create that ideal setup for you. Stay disciplined, stay focused, make the rest of your trading the best you're trading. Don't focus on perfection, focus on progress. Have a great trading week. Hi traders, it's Stacy Burke from Stacy Burke Trading. If you haven't done so, please head over to my website at stacyburketrading.com. I create updates on almost a daily basis, and I would love for you to receive them. Just click on the blog. If you want to enter your name and your email address, I'll send you my free audio program, the 7-Step Daily Routine for High Performance Traders. This is essential knowledge for all traders in all markets, and this is for helping traders to master the market with discipline, confidence, and a winning mindset. I appreciate all your feedback and comments. As always, traders, stay disciplined, and may the markets go with you.